Number 3 or 4. Catch a fish with that ring that I found in the river yesterday. Now we can move on to the next spot. Bottom fishing, salmon fishing. Like right now, if I was to set the hook, line snap. Alright guys, I'm going to be doing a fishing challenge today. I'm going to do every fish, new spot. So every time I hook into a fish, I got to go to a new spot. I'm going to try and aim for 10 spots at least. I got about 3.5 hours, but we'll see. I think I can hit at least 6, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be using this carbon fiber ugly stick. It's just a really light rod. And I got this light fluger reel to go with it, 8-pound braid. And then for lures, I got the swim baits, and I got the heaviest I brought is a 1/4 ounce jig head. I got some 3/8 ounce. I got some micro guys and some little minnows. I got a couple of spoons and spinners, so I'm gonna start out with one of these little micro fish. I'm gonna let it sink for a second. Oh, and I got my ring on that I found in my video yesterday. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I might have to try something a little bit flashier since the water's so murky, I think. Try one more cast over here towards the bridge. And then I'm gonna throw a spinner on, I think. I know there's a ton of fish out here. I used to come out here and catch them all the time. This is actually one of the spots I've first caught a fish when I was just a little kid. And I set the hook in it so hard that it came from that side of the bridge over to this side of the bridge into the water. So far, no luck. Whoa, there's a million dragonflies here. Those guys bite hard. Since I can't catch a fish, I'm gonna use, maybe I'll catch a fish with that ring that I found in the river yesterday. It's not because of the ring, it was just a bad cast. It's just dragging weeds now. Okay, new strategy. We're gonna throw one of these little tubes on and try and just dangle it off the bridge. I don't know what's going on here, man. I should have had a fish by now. We're just gonna walk literally right to that corner. Oh, it's shallow here too. Almost worse. Should have brought my kayak, I guess. All right, we got the kayak. We're gonna throw her in the lake now. We can't be giving up like that just because the shore's shallow, right? Let's go catch a fish. Okay, little blue fox spinner, number 3. It's a really old one. Let's see if there's any fish out here. This is right where we were before, right there. gonna go ahead and cut this guy off and just tie on a little tube. Just this tiny little yellow and green tube. Oh, I have one on. Finally, I got a fish. Oh man, that took so long. Got one. Just a wee guy. Okay guys, we got our first fish. Now we can move on to the next spot. Alright, we're at Hogsback Lake now. Gonna just try and throw that tube I had tied on already and see if that gets any bites. Doesn't cast very far. You guys catching any fish? No? Okay. It's crazy, right over here I've seen this one jump out like 3 times. Try this little guy. That might actually work. Alright, well I kind of failed my fishing mission there yesterday, but had to get over here, get to work to get some more fishing lures, you know what I mean? You guys think Milwaukee or DeWalt? What tools are better? Leave a comment. It's almost smoke break, eh?
Let's get close.
I got a mix. There's Jean's Chinese drill. This is my thumbnail right here. I'm serious, bro. Cut myself out, and one side of me will be here holding my drill, and then the other side will be me with the fish. I gotta show you my thumbnail, dude. Slacking on the job, man. Unreal. Alright, just about done now. I've got a couple more sheets to throw up. What do you think, Braden? Looks good? Sweet. Alright guys, I just got back from work. I thought I'd just throw a couple of those clips in there since I failed my first fishing challenge. I only caught that one little fish. I kind of went to a couple bad spots to start, I think, but it is what it is. I had a subscriber hitting me up in my comments, Soldier27, asking me if I had any tips on how I set up my drag on my spinning reel. He's worried about breaking off when he hooks into a big fish. I'm gonna go into that, and I'm gonna go into a little bit more gear, like what I like to run for rods, reels, line, what kind of knots I tie and all that. I'm just gonna go down to the river here quick, show you how I set my drag and get a couple fish. All right guys, I'm just gonna get right into how I like to have my drag set. Right to start off, the drag doesn't have anything to do with your casting. The drag can be so loose. Like right now, you see my hook dangling there, and I'm reeling. My drag is so loose that I can't even reel in my hook. But even though my drag is so loose, once I pitch the line under my finger, I can still cast it just as far. But I can't reel in a fish because my line's so loose that I can't even reel my hook up. So the first thing I do when I get to the water, I just feel my line. I just want to get pretty easy to pull out, but just enough that you can get that hook in the fish's mouth. When you're running a really light setup like this, you really don't want it too tight, or you can snap your line. And once you cast more and like you get it figured out, you'll know exactly like, okay, I got big number 4 size MEP spinner on. It's gonna have a lot of drag. So for this reel and rod, I wouldn't even run this normally because it's got too much drag. It's gonna be pulling so hard, I'm gonna have to have the drag cranked right down for this reel. So just a demonstration, I'm gonna have my line fairly loose, and like right here, normally this would be good for a really small spinner, size 2. This would be enough drag to catch a fish and set the hook and everything. But with this hook, since it's a bit bigger, and you can still run a bigger hook like this on a rod like this, it's just not ideal. You see, when I'm reeling, even when I'm reeling, the drag is giving a bit of line here, and that's not what you're looking for. Oh, I just had a bite. You want it, so while you're reeling, it's not giving any line. But when you set the hook, you want a little bit of line to go out, because you don't want it just to be no drag. That's how you snap your line. If you don't have any drag out when you're setting the hook, you want your drag just loose enough that lets out a bit of line when you set your hook. And how I test it while my hook's in the water, once I know my hook's down far enough that it's not just gonna come flying out of the water, when I set my hook, I'll just give it a good tug. And you hear that, how it gave a little bit of drag out there? That's what you're looking for when you set the hook. Because right now, even with this light line, I could hook into a 20-pound fish and I could play him out. Oh, I just got one. As we speak of it, see? You want it so that a bit of line's coming out while you're catching the fish. You don't want it to be just straight on. That's how your line gets snapped. As long as a bit of line's coming out, you're good. And number one mistake why I've broken rods, with a small fish like this, I can lift it out of the water like this. If this fish was any bigger, twice the size, if I tried that and he gave a big flop, end of your rod's getting snapped if it's a light rod like this. Just another pike minnow. Now I got a smaller size 2 spinner on, so it's got less drag, and I got my drag still set the same as when I had the big one on. So I'll show you what happens now. With this little hook in the water, when I go to set my hook, it's not giving any drag because it's set the same as the big spinner. It gave a couple clicks there, not much. So now that I got this smaller hook on, I'm just gonna fine tune it, and I'm gonna feel every time I loosen it off a bit, I'm gonna just feel how much less it gave out. And then there you go, you hear that? That's much better. You don't want the hook to get pulled out of his mouth if you have a bad hook set, so you don't want your drag too tight. Only time you really want your drag tight is if it's taking you around a bridge pole like that, and it's either tight in the drag or the fish snaps your line off around a bridge pole. So just to recap, first thing you do when you get to the water, feel your drag, look at your hook. Once you cast with your hooks for a bit, you'll know, okay, that feels a bit heavy for my hook, I'm gonna loosen it off. That doesn't affect your casting at all. Your finger goes here, clamps down the line, the drag can't do anything now. When you cast, you let go at the same time as when the rod goes forward. So your drag doesn't come into play until your hook hits the water. And when you set your hook, you want a little bit of line to come out. That felt a bit tight. That felt a bit loose. A couple more clicks. You can just play with it while you're casting. You'll see me while I'm casting almost every time. I do it more than I need to, just because I'm picky. Almost every time I cast, you'll see me pull up my line. I'm like, okay, yeah, that feels good for that hook. I'll start reeling a bit. If it's too loose, oh, you hear it clicking. Okay, that's too loose. Got to tighten it a bit. And you shouldn't have to be doing it too much. The only time you maybe have to really tighten your drag down much is if you hook into a bigger fish than you're expecting to, right? Then maybe you got to do it a bit more clicks than normal. All right, I hope that made you understand it a little bit better. I'm gonna go a little bit more into detail when I get back home and talk a little bit about more what kind of rods, reels, lines, and all that. I'm just gonna catch a couple fish here quick, and then I'll go back home and get into all that. There we go. See that? I just pull my drag there every time I cast just to feel my drag. I felt it was a bit loose there, so I just tightened it a bit. The mosquitoes are just eating me alive. It's crazy. There we go, we got another. Normally I'd play the fish out more. I'm just trying to get them in quick. Another pike minnow. They're biting right now. Number 3 or 4. With these swim baits, I like to give a little bit of side and side sometimes. Like, they like it. They bit right away when I did that. You can do all kinds, like with these light rods, it's easier to play with your hook. Back to back right now. Better size ones too. The mosquitoes and the fish are biting. That actually looks like a bull trout jumping out there, eh? Like the bull trout like to flop around on top of the water like that. Yeah, and at nighttime right here when the lights kick on, like that's when the bull trout bite. In the spring and the fall, like I'll just reel in 15 pounders back to back at nighttime out here. I don't want to catch one on this tiny little rod I got right now though. Right here's the deep channel. Oh yeah, right here's the deep channel they like, right in front of us. The plastic rattlefish, you know those things? Yeah, they like look like a minnow, but they're plastic and they have little balls in them. The ones that don't dive too deep for right here, they work really good. They just don't cast as far, so like even these jig heads with swim bait on them, like a little rubber one, or spinners, big spoons. You can use like big char hooks. Like if you've ever went lake trout fishing, any of those hooks work too. Yeah, they are pretty much just a lake trout, but they're in the river, the bull trout. It's just more in the spring and fall. Oh, there goes my hook. All right guys, we're headed home. There's too many mosquitoes and I don't got much time to edit this video. I'm literally driving with my knee and scratching both my legs at the same time. I got so many mosquito bites. Okay, we're back from the river. I'm just gonna start off by showing you what's my favorite knot to tie. If you're worried about breaking off, tie this knot. And I've never had this knot break. Just what you wanna do, you wanna take your line, double it over, leave some left over there. It's gonna get cut off afterwards. You double it over, pinch it down, put it through the eye, pull it all the way through like that. And then you just wanna take this and you wanna loop it around these two lines like that. So you just take this, loop it around. When you loop it around, it'll create this other opening right here. You want to just put that end, the doubled over end, through there, pull it down, keep these loose end and your line pinch down. You pull that out, you can pull it tight. Now you're left over with this loop. You want to put whatever you're tying on through the loop like so. Make sure that this doesn't fall out through the loop. And then you just pull these two tight and you cut off the excess like that, and you're good to go. This is a really strong knot because I don't know if you can see your knot, but the line's actually around this twice. With most of the other knots, it's only around there once, so it's like double strength. I've never had this knot break off. You can also tie this knot with any fishing line. I do it with mono, braid. With mono, I usually just wet it a little bit with my saliva and pull it tight, and you'll be good to go. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show you, I just got this little reel, same one I was casting with. I put it on this big ugly stick because I don't want to snap my rod showing you this. It's like I was talking on the water. You just cast your raw line out, you feel your drag. Like right now, if I was to set the hook, that feels super tight. That feels a bit loose. That's still a bit loose right there. So now, like, I got it tied to the vise over there. As long as you have your drag set so you can pull it out, if it's in the water, you go to set your hook. Even if you don't have a fish on, you just feel how it feels, and it lets a bit of line out. No matter what, when you set your hook, your line's not gonna stab. I got my drag set. Even with this big rod tied to the anvil, my line's not gonna snap. Now, if you tighten it too much, like this, say I have a number 4 spinner on, I'm reeling in, it's clicking still, so I have to have it tightened down to where I'm reeling in, it's not clicking. When I set the hook, it lets a bit of line out, but this number 4 has so much drag, when I go to set the hook, line snapped. So just make sure you're using right size hook, you're using the right knot, you got your drag set to when your hook's in the water. When you set it, even if there's not a fish on there, it lets a little bit out, you'll be good. Hope that explains it for you. If you guys are still confused, just put a comment, tell me what I need to explain better. I can always make another video. I'm just gonna go into my rods, reels, lines, just real quick and do another longer video another day. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into rods right now because I got so many, but like mainly line. If you have a light rod, I'm always using braid. Braid's just my favorite. If I'm casting in the river where there's lots of rocks, I'll use an FG knot, and I'll actually tie the mono onto my braid, which I could also make another video about if you guys are interested. But my favorite kind of line for casting, at least, braided line. This is the stuff I use. It doesn't stretch, casts super nice. I feel like you can cast way farther with it. It's really strong. The only thing that's not as good as mono or fluorocarbon is it rubbing against the rocks. It gets wore out faster. Your line wears out and it'll snap easier. So if I'm casting somewhere where I'm reeling my hook in down low around rocks and stuff, then I tie a bit of mono on there. But yeah, I got all kinds of rods and reels. Maybe I won't go in too much. For rods and reels, I got all different kinds of casting. Bottom fishing, salmon fishing, trout fishing, down rigging. Like, I got so many different kinds of rods. Probably put that into a different video, going more into detail about all those and the reels. But hope you guys all really enjoyed the video, and I appreciate you guys watching. Shout out to Soldier for leaving the comment. I'll catch you guys in the next one.